Hey guys, welcome back to The Horror with your hostess with the mostest channel as always. So of course we are continuing our Friday 13th franchise marathon with Friday 13th Part 3 in 3D. Yes, this was the gimmick movie to kind of cash in on the 3D phenomena that seemed to have its resurgence. This was kind of like one of those first times that they were, I don't say the first times, but since like the 50s and everything, and with all their creature feature films and everything being in 3D, they were kind of bringing, I should say 3D was kind of making a comeback, sort of how it did a few years back with a lot of like 3D movies, even now being in like 3D and everything. So it was a little bit of like a money grabber and everything. So Friday the 13th Part 3 takes place literally the day after Friday the 13th Part 2. So it's technically Saturday the 14th. Whatever. Jason, I guess, just kind of wanted to have a nice long weekend, a nice long binge weekend of slashing. So we see our new group of kids. They are group of like, what was it, like 2, 4, 6, about 8 kids or whatever. They are on their way to go pick up one of the main girls, Chris's friend, at her house to set up with Shelly and everything. And I gotta say, this is like one of the first ones I have to admit that the cast just kind of annoys me. They all really annoy me. Chris, the final girl, annoys me. I think Deb is her name, the pregnant girl. She annoys me. They're just all annoying. Oddly enough, though, I don't find Shelly that annoying. I know a lot of people are always like, oh, Shelly, he's a horrible character. Honestly, Shelly's not even that bad. His friends are more annoying and more douchier than he is. I'm just saying. I didn't want to get that off the record because I was kind of realizing that as I was sort of rewatching this one, and I'm just like, God, they're annoying. Shelly should have picked a better group of friends because no one likes him. I don't even know why they're letting him tag along if they don't even like him. Like, I just have this feeling of like, I feel like they're not even like, oh, that's Shelly or whatever. I just feel like they're kind of like, oh, Shelly's coming along. Like, I feel like they don't like him, period. Like, oh, anyway. But speaking of Shelly, thanks to Shelly, this is the first time that we are introduced to the hockey mask. He actually brought the mask with him, along with another mask or another couple of masks on this little trip. Jason sees it, really enjoys it, puts it on, and that is the Jason staple for the rest of the franchise. So, yeah. So this one though, like I said, I don't really like the characters as much. I just find them annoying. And I give this one, some credit because it does try to give you a little bit more of a connection between Chris and Jason, trying to set up, they're trying to break away a little bit of Jason trying to revenge his mother's death, even though at the end of the day, that is basically, why he's killing, especially if, I know it's kind of coming into his territory and everything. But, I do give him credit for trying to, like I said, make a connection between Jason and Chris. Chris, who I guess a few years before was attacked by Jason because she had ran away from, or I shouldn't say run away, but she ran out of her house for the night because her and her parents were arguing. So to kind of get back at them, she ran off, was going to spend like the night in the woods just to get them so worried that they would forget that they were mad at her and everything. But it kind of backfires on her and Jason attacks her. I know that the initial idea was to have Jason kind of like rape her, which I know in a way I'm kind of glad they didn't, because that's kind of weird, especially with what we have set up for Jason as a character at this point and what we have kind of known him to be now. But at the same time, I feel like maybe that would have been a little more effective. Like I said, I know that's so kind of weird, especially with like the icon that Jason is now. If they would have done that for this one, I mean, honestly, I may have been a little more sympathetic towards Chris. But like I said, I just find her annoying, along with like everyone else. Um, like even her friend Deb, the one who's pregnant. I just every line that she delivers, I just feel like she's like, well, that's what happens when you're pregnant. Oh, we're gonna sleep on the hammock. Oh, I think it was good because of the hammock. It's just her delivery just so annoying to me. It's so annoying. Makes me angry. Yeah, I'm like angry now because I just watched it. I just was just kind of like vaguely watching it and stuff as I was getting ready to. And I'm just like, God, I'm annoyed. Never realized how much this movie annoys me until today. I'm just saying. But honestly, though, even though with all that, like my gripes of not liking the characters or anything, this actually is a pretty decent installment. It's still kind of watchable for me. It's not necessarily always one that I watch when I'm doing like a little mini binge marathon. Like if there anytime Friday 13th comes up, I do my little token like franchise or binge watch of them. Sometimes I will watch like 1 through 4. Sometimes I'll just skip 3, go straight to 4. Whatever. So that's just me. Something else that I crack up with this movie, and it's not really even like at fault of the movie or anything. I mean, especially to considering this was what 82, 83ish when this one came out. Plus, to the technology that they were trying to do. For all you youngins out there, like I said, this is in 3D. 3D back then, like the technology for it back then, is nothing like it is now. I mean, basically, all you need is like a special camera, pretty much, and a little CGI, and you get a much better 3D feedback and everything. But back then, they really had to kind of position camera just right with things at such an awkward angle to using like strings and stuff to try and pull that item or whatever it is into frame so that way they could get the right effect and everything to have a decent 3D effect. So in quite a lot of the scenes, like one of the first ones I remember was the very beginning with the snake jumping out at Harold. Like you could so totally see the fish wire and everything. Same thing with when the guy Rick, I think is his name, his eye pops out. You can see the string. Or even like when Jason hooks a bow and arrow or the arrow onto the gun. You could see the arrow or the arrow. Obviously, you can see the arrow, but you can see like the string and everything. So, I mean, things like that, it just like, it kind of cracks me up. I feel like kids today might see that and be like, dude, I can see the string. Oh, I can see this. Like I said, for the time, it wasn't like it is today. It was pretty archaic of just, we didn't have the resources like we do today for stuff like this, for a 3D movie like this. But yeah, I mean, it's a decent movie at the end of the day, even with my gripes. Um, the ending, actually, no, Jason. Let's talk a little bit more about Jason, because like I said, this is the day after number 2. So, as I said in my review about number 2, I really liked the look of Jason, very kind of humanistic and everything. This one, he's still slightly humanistic, or human, but you definitely, and I know a lot of this too, like the Jason kind of changing so dramatically from film to film is because different effects guys and everything, each time they didn't really stay consistent with that. And Friday the 13th really didn't ever stick to like continuity or anything. So this is like one of the last times I feel where we kind of see him as a little bit more of like human and everything, a little more messed up shaped head. But the thing is like within like 24 hours, like Jason has changed so freaking much that it's like, wait, is that the same guy that just killed like all those kids the day before? Hence why I kind of think that maybe Jason from part 2 and Paul maybe ran off together. I don't know. I'm just saying. But yeah, like it's weird, especially if you're trying to make it seem like okay, it's within a day of each other. Think think that you would kind of try to stay somewhat consistent. So I blame all the rest of the continuity errors and all the timeline errors on number three. I'm setting that on number three. I'm not setting it on number two because they specified, like, hey, this is 5 years later. Like, 5 years ago, this happened. This one, no. Like, it's the day after because we see the news and everything. And then it's like all this stuff. So I blame all of the series nudity on number three. I'm just saying, that's me. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. So yeah, I mean, once again, it's one of those little gripes. I mean, it's not even a big deal. It's just one of those things because I have like religiously grown up with this and watched it religiously. It's like with anyone with franchises that you've binge watched consistently your entire life, you're gonna find some flaws. I'm just saying, I'm not even hating on it. But yeah, so then we have the ending, which is pretty much an homage to the first one. I know that they were kind of in talks of, oh, this is going to be the last one or whatever. Last one. Like, seriously, we all know by now, when they say that something's going to be the last one of something, we're like, okay, we'll see it in a couple of years. But no, the ending of this one, though, it's kind of interesting because, Chris is in that little lake. To me, it just looks like a little creek or a little pond. I'm just saying, like, why are you canoeing in a pond? Literally, I live like right by like two little like man-made lakes. Those are both bigger than the little pond that she was in, and they do a little canoeing over there and everything. I'm just saying. But yeah, it's a little homage. You see like Jason sort of, in the window where she thinks she does, very much a dream, and then after she realizes that Jason isn't coming out, trying to chase after her in the canoe. We then have the actual homage of Mrs. Voorhees kind of coming out and grabbing her and everything, which is cool. I mean, little homage like that, nothing wrong with that. But this one is like, I definitely feel is like total dream. Like this, unlike the first one where I was like, I feel like maybe it could be real. Maybe she didn't really dream it. This one I'm totally like, yeah, that is, that's a total dream right there. Like, that's just me, though. That's just me. Although it would have been interesting, especially with how, after this, Jason just keeps coming back, reanimated and everything, keeps coming back, looking crappier than the previous movie and everything. It would have been kind of interesting to see them kind of do the same thing with Mrs. Voorhees. Although, I don't know if I would really feel okay with. I don't think I would have liked the franchise as much if both of them kept coming up, but yeah, that's just kind of, those are my kind of thoughts on Friday the 13th Part 3. So, like I said, I was not a fan of Chris, the final girl. What do you guys think? What do you guys think of Chris? Do you like her as a final girl? How do you feel she stacks up to our previous two final girls so far? Girls so far that we've already seen in parts 1, 2, and 3. Who's your favorite? I know I asked this in the last video, but I'll ask it again. I'll keep kind of asking you guys just because I like to do this sort of film by film. So far of the three that we have seen, Alice, Ginny, and Chris, who is your favorite final girl so far? Who do you think is your weakest final girl? Let me know. And so far, who within these three installments so far, who so far has been your favorite character from whatever movie? Let me know as always, you guys. Till next time, as always, stay creepy, classy, and a little bit sassy.